and dignity, stop the New World Order. Welcome to Fanmo TV. Now, I've just been listening to a chap whose name I wrote down, and I know it's Harriet Bereid, isn't it?
Have you got it there?
And Mike Harper.
Mike Harper, yeah, and I really learned some interesting stuff, right? Believe it or not, what he's saying, and he presents good evidence, is that some of the structures in and around the English Channel that we think of as natural features of the landscape, natural geological
Venus pools in particular he was
are
talking
artificial,
about.
Are actually, they've been designed artificially.
Just to give people a scope, he used the analogy, cast your mind back to when you were a kid on the beach and you stood in rock pools, maybe they were up to your waist, at the deepest, but you never found one that went above your head.
Very rare.
And these Venus pools that on these Channel Islands, such as Jersey, Guernsey, Sark, and they all kind of seem strategically placed.
A Venus pool is a rock pool that is deep enough to sort of swim in, a really deep rock pool. That, like when the tide comes in, it's covered by the sea, it's just a deep part of the sea. When the tide goes out, it's left as a pool. And there's all other kind of features, such as what he talks about. He says it's all to do with trade in tin and copper for bronze, and also the import of granite, and in the megalithic times. But it's also to do with the fact that for some reason the people involved in this trade also created these artificial structures. For instance, there's things called tidal islands. Now, tidal island is an island that
tidal causeways.
Well, yeah. When the tide is up, it's an island surrounded by sea. When the tide goes out, the sea comes back and it's connected to the mainland by a bit of beach, and you can actually build a road across that beach, and that's called a causeway.
Yeah.
See
what he didn't mention. He didn't mention a one up north, which is Holy Island, which is connected, but it's connected by a causeway, which I think is a man-made causeway. But I think that actually used to be an actual causeway that went out there. That was one he didn't mention. I was a bit disappointed.
There were several around the country, around the world. Like one is, even when I was a little kid, right, I thought it was strange because there's a place in Cornwall called St Michael's Mount, which is a very, very tall conical island with a church at the top. And there's a place in France called Mont Saint-Michel. Now, Mont in French means mountain or mount. Saint-Michel is St. Michael, so it's St. Michael's Mount. And it's almost identical. It's a conical island, tidal island with a causeway, with a church on the top of it.
It's kind of what he described them as jelly mold-shaped islands. He made the analogy as well with Maiden Castle in Dorset, which was exactly the same shape as I think it was one of the islands
Jettu, one of the Channel Islands. And it's weird because in between Mont Saint-Michel, it's Burr Island.
Burr Island, yeah.
Which is another tidal causeway island in the south of Devon. And Mont Saint-Michel, you get the Channel Islands, Jersey, Guernsey, and several others. One of them's called Jettu, which is...
Yeah, now these islands are privately owned, aren't they? So we know there's Venus pools, but we can't take any pictures of them because, as he explained, they were owned by the Barclay brothers, who owned the Telegraph newspaper, and they wouldn't let anybody go taking pictures there.
That's right, Conrad Black's old company, the big Illuminati media company. And they won't let anyone go on there, but it's really, really strange that these strange features that are so rare. Because if you think about a tidal island, it's quite rare to have the water level at exactly the right level that it's between low and high tide, But he said that there's this thing called Maiden Castle, which is a huge Iron Age hill fort in Dorset. Now, it's exactly a model of Jettu Island, right, in the Channel Islands, and in terms of size and shape, jelly mold. And he mentioned that we were just saying last night on Glastonbury Tour, we thought that would be an artificial structure.
Yeah, it's
a jelly mold shape.
Definitely artificial, and as the speaker there said, he's drove into Glastonbury for his first time. The first time he drove in, and he thought straight away, oh look, it's a man-made mound. How can that be organic to its surroundings?
How they just exactly on top of each other.
Yeah, we were saying, weren't we? It's just sticking like a sore thumb out of the Somerset levels. Yeah. And it's got these layers on it. It's like a layer cake, and it's like built like you build one layer, and it's like it's been built in stages. You build one layer, you build on top of it. It's like superstructure on top of superstructure. But I mean, I really learnt a lot today, like, because he he didn't talk really about why this. I mean, it's to do with...
Yeah, it was more about the actual physical evidence itself. He didn't really have too many kind of conclusions, did he? But I mean, he certainly presented some great physical evidence.
It's hard to know why these people, whoever they will go to such lengths to build the structures. I mean, he talks about Great Orme Head as well, which is another island with a causeway. It's not.
Well, the one that fascinated me was he talked about Chesil Beach, and like I was saying before, we talked about Chesil Beach a lot at university. We even went down to do some field work on there. And what you've got grades of stone to start off in Budley Salton, where the rocks are quite big. I mean, they're as big as your hand. There goes a picture of my hand.
Beach.
And it goes all the way down to, like, say, Portland, where the grains are absolutely tiny. So it's all actually graded like that. And I mean, his is the first theory that actually explains that it might actually be a man-made structure.
I mean, it's remarkable. I mean, Chesil Beach, you can see it from satellite photos. It's remarkable. It's one of the most remarkable formations in the world. It's a straight line.
It's completely straight, about 15 miles long, I think it is. And
I suppose it's just the accumulation of some currents, you know.
But what's really fascinating is the grades of shingle. Like I say, it goes from big boulders all the way down to tiny pebbles, and it's linear the way it goes down.
It was built by people who know what they're doing, and what's more, it's a perfect. If you're like on an ancient trade route and you arrive at the southern coast of Britain on a ship. It's a perfect place to land your ship. You wouldn't have to wait for the right tide. And if it doesn't work, if it's too much wind on that side, you just go around to the other side of Portland Bill, and there's that beautiful, curvaceous, luxurious, opulent Weymouth Beach.
Yeah, there you go.
One of the most perfect beaches in the world.
Yeah, we can't land there, right? We'll land there.
It's one of the most beautiful places you could ever go in terms of seasides. And again, because it's perfectly safe, you just drive your boat straight in the bay and up onto the beach. And as far as what this guy suggested, what Mike Harper is suggesting, and his co-author Harriet Fareed, is that these are artificially engineered. These basically engineered landscapes.
Yeah.
The Causeway Islands and Rockport surround the Channel Islands. The main Channel Islands. There's 3 on Guernsey, and on the south, you've got Jersey to the south of that, and there's another one, and there's Sark in between them.
Well, there's altogether at low tide there's 357, I think, in the archipelago.
And there's low point, there's like 50.
There's these little groups of like shoals and reefs, which used to be above sea level, but they're like there's just one tiny bit above sea level at high tide. All the rest, but there's like 20 square miles when the tide goes out, and it's like, what the hell's going on? It's such a. I never knew about this before, but it's convincing that we're looking at a past. We're looking at the past through this evidence, when it completely contradicts everything we're told through official channels of what the past is.
Yeah, it's his story, not history.
Yeah, exactly. High story. The thing is, it's interesting. I told about this Ellis Taylor, who was talking about the secret meaning of words. I mean, high it's high. You can split story, high street, 2 words, high and story. High is another word for high, spelled H-I-G-H, like in words like hi-fi. Okay, and another word for high is tall. So history becomes tall story.
Tall
bloody well is.
Absolutely.
Okay, much more coming up later on. Stay tuned. Hospital porters, pride and dignity, stop the New World Order.